Okay, so this one's going to be a little bit different. What I'm talking about here are basically mushrooms and how this goes to the Christmas story that's out there, and it seems like how we tend to celebrate things here in America without really knowing what the root of it is, or if we're actually even worshiping the right things when we're doing it. And like I said, I don't know. I believe in God. Uh, uh, Other than that, I don't know about all the other religions that are out there. I just know that there is a creator. I feel that in my heart anyway, and that he works in our lives on a daily basis. We just tend to dismiss it as coincidence and other things instead of accepting him for what he is and the way that he works in our lives. I don't believe that he comes to any person or persons and directly talks to them. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. He never has to me, but I do feel him working in my life. With that said in mind, I've heard the story about Christmas and the date that it's on and how it probably doesn't fit the time of when he would have been born as well. It looks like it's astrology worship to me, from everything that I've read, and mushroom worship to boot. I'll just tell you what I've found, and anybody that can add anything to it or maybe help me out. But the whole story of the three kings coming, it doesn't say that in the Bible. It doesn't say three kings. Does say that the fields were green, so he was probably born in the spring or summer as opposed to the winter. Um, there was never three kings, but there are three kings in the heavens or the sky. It's the three. It's Orion's belt, basically, which are also known as the three kings. Um, and the whole story of the resurrection and everything, at least as the way it looks like it's being portrayed, is astrological as well. Uh, you have the I guess the northern progression of the sun moving a degree each day towards the end of the year, which on the 21st it moves to its southernmost point and its lowest point on the horizon. Therefore, it seems to like the sun is just kind of dying away slowly, and something weird happens on the 21st. It stops visibly moving 1 degree to the north and appears to stay in the same spot for 3 days, which is the death of the sun, 3 days that he was gone. And then the resurrection, which is on December 25th, which the sun actually starts the progression back to the southern hemisphere in the spring and the return of life giving and all of that. Um, so there's that story, and in amongst that story is on that day, the December 25th, the three stars point to where the sun is going to arise on the 25th, and the sun on that day is there's also a star constellation behind the sun that's known as the Southern Crux or the Southern Cross. So once again, uh, it doesn't look to be what we've been told. Like we've been worshiping the wrong things. Um, Maybe it's just like it's been twisted on us. We meant to do right, but we were lied to or something. Now, the whole Christmas tree thing. There's actually a passage in the Bible that says you shouldn't cut down trees, adorn it with gold and silver, and worship it, which is basically what you're doing on a holiday. And if you look up the word holiday, you will find that it is a holy day. That's where it came from. So, but it specifically says in the Bible you're not to cut a tree down and adorn it with gold and silver, which we do. Now, Where it really gets weird is what most Americans know of Christmas and old Saint Nick, the red and white guy carrying a bag with these reindeer that fly through the sky. Um, from what I'm garnering on this, the Christmas tree. Uh, the reason that you get the pine tree in specific is because it 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 produces the Amanita muscaria, which is a particular mushroom um, that grows at the base of the tree, hence the presents. And if you wonder why the Christmas theme is red and white, it's because the Amanita muscaria is red and white as well. So you have this tree that you put in your home, and you have presents underneath it. Really pretty wild presence if you think about it. Now the other part of this is that the shamans in the more of the Arctic regions like Alaska, stuff like that, they would go around with red bags and collect the Amanita muscaria, and then they would come to the villages and give them to the people. And what they would do is they would put them in socks and dry them out. Which, if you know anything about mushrooms, you dry them out a lot of times to preserve them, and you would put them in a sock over the fireplace to do that. Hence the stocking stuffers, um, which was very interesting. Uh, Now, kind of a strange twist on that is like, well, where did the reindeer come from? Well, these particular people also had another practice. It seems to be that if you feed the mushrooms to the reindeer, which is actually a delicacy for them, they love the mushrooms, and then capture the urine from the reindeer, that it goes through a metabolic process, I guess, and intensifies the active ingredient in 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 the Amanita muscaria mushroom, or from it, and hence the reindeer flying through the sky. Um, so there's some weird twist to that. Now, once again, Easter, Good Friday, spring equinox. Once again, that sounds like astrological worship. Easter, which I had heard of the god Ishtar, Ishtar, from a long time, because I've always read a lot, uh, but I never knew the phonetic spelling. I always thought it was Ishtar, but it seems to be that it is actually Eastar. So hence we have the word Easter. And once again, it seems like we're worshiping what we thought was God, when in fact it's another deity that we are actually worshiping. And there's some bloody stuff on the whole Easter egg thing. I mean, and a lot of people say it's fertility and all that, which would relate back to the god Ishtar, or Easter, because of course the bunny rabbit is very prolific, and eggs, of course, are. I mean, it's an egg. I mean, duh. Uh, but there's some bloody stuff onto the painting of the eggs that came about, is that they would sacrifice children and paint the eggs in blood. Uh, so it's like, we're celebrating things, but and I know this is it's gonna question your belief system, and when that happens, you're gonna react negatively. But just remember that truth goes through three stages. It's ridiculed, violently opposed, and then there is acceptance. Which I've been going through this process, it seems like, the last couple of years a lot. What I thought doesn't seem like it is anymore on a lot of topics. Um, Curious. I'm not getting very many responses as of yet, but I'm curious as to what your thoughts are out there on this subject, especially in light of everything. I'm going to say this though, about the Bible especially. I believe there are truths in the Bible I just don't know what is true anymore because I think it's been tampered with. It's been picked apart, and there are so many parts that have been taken out. And then you look at the Dead Sea Scrolls, and when you even going as far to say, I've seen something that really made me question and think too, especially if you've had an experience like mine. Uh, you know, and I say this, and it's just for the simple fact that if we are worshiping what appears to be the wrong God, like we got tricked or somehow, uh, it's the only reason I bring it up. It's a scary thing to even say, but it's like maybe from like John Allegro, if you take what he was saying, and he's a scholar. I mean, he was one of the few people that actually got to see the Dead Sea Scrolls. He was saying that Jesus was an experience and that there was a special blend that they would put together. It had to do with the Amanita muscaria, another type of mushroom, an opiate, and I believe marijuana, but I'm not 100% sure. But by doing this, you would have this experience, and that's what Jesus was. It was an experience of truth. But and the reason that I come back to this is because of my own experience with the mushrooms, and and being rudely awoken, I guess you could say, to. And maybe I'm just totally confused and mixed up, but it seems like I'm seeing the truth for what it is, more so than I ever have in my life. And for whatever reason, it almost feels like it was under a magic spell, or just for whatever reason, it wasn't there in me at that point because maybe I had not been awoken to it yet. Maybe the mushrooms are a catalyst to opening your mind to the truth of the situation that you're in and what this world is about. Because when you start researching it, it really does look supernatural. Like definitely the devil does run this world, and he's a damn good liar. Uh, Either that, or there's some really smart people out there that are working against most of us people that love and care for one another. Um, and that's really the message that I want to spread, man. It's just, you know, we need a lot more love and compassion in this world. A lot more. Yeah, let's stop the killing. Let's just let's just refuse to kill one another, okay? I mean, come on, people. It's not that hard. There's plenty out there. Just don't be greedy, you know? Take what you need. Why would you need anything more? There's so much. There's so many that have so much, and so many that have nothing at all. And if you're not aware, there's no scarcity on this earth. It's all manufactured. It's because a few want to hold it all. And we got to extend those people love too, unfortunately. Because you can't beat them with killing them because you become them. That's the catch-22 of this world, you know. You can go out and want to make a difference and start changing it, but the only way you're going to be able to change it is to become that monster. And we just, that's not a good road to go down. There's so much. There's so much. We're not taking care of our planet, man. We're poisoning this world. It would like we got 5 more just outside uh, the door to go run to or something. Um, it's madness. It's pure fucking madness. What we're doing. I look at even as my job as an arborist. Um, it's like everything, it seems like, in this world, it's just backwards. Everything is backwards. I get paid more if I remove a tree than if I trim it, okay, or try and care for it. Um, Now, I am an honest person, and, although I've done my fair share, I can't say I'm a dishonest person as well. I think if you're one, you're the other. Because I have removed a few trees that I didn't agree with removing, just for the money, because it's the way that you have to survive in this world. And, everybody wants to fix it, but I think it is the problem in itself. Tell me what you think, guys.